it took me a while to figure out whether or not I was going to make this video. It touches on an incident that happened a week or so ago on the 26th of June in Sacramento, where a group called the Traditionalist Workers Party, a small group, legally had a permitted protest permission to state their grievances in front of the State House in Sacramento, California. Now, these are basically white supremacists and other hodgepodge of those folks, and I don't subscribe to the kind of hatred that those groups like that profess. I can totally understand some angst about white folks no longer being the majority people in this country, and that's just the way it is, and they need to get over that, because it's not going back the other way. But having said that, I love our country and the Constitution that's its basis more than I hate those guys. You know what I'm saying? So here's my point. These guys show up, they have permission, they have a permit, and they have a space that's been given to them where they're going to, yell their yells and blow in their horns and do whatever they're going to do. But it was a peaceful protest on their part. They were met by 300 bullshit social justice warrior university kids out of Sacramento, ready for battle. They knew about this thing because it was public record. They showed up in advance, and when the white supremacists showed up, they basically mobbed them with extreme violence. We're talking about bricks, sticks, those kind of things, and they just wailed into these 30 guys. Now, it's California. So if 300 to 30 is a classic permission to use deadly force in your own protection. And so what happened? The skinhead / white supremacist / Traditionalist Workers Party guys pulled out their blades and went to work on the social justice warriors. Sent 7 of them to the hospital. Now, the press tried to spin it as, we don't know if it's life-threatening. Look, I saw the photos of one of these guys, one of the guys that got stabbed. They're all college students. They're there with the helmets. They're there with all the stuff to armor themselves up to go to battle. They went there with the intent to inflict this kind of damage on people who were doing a peaceful protest in this country. Right? Bullshit. And those guys, those 30 guys, had every right to go to work on them. And they did. They sent a few to the hospital. I saw a picture of one guy, black dude, laying on the ground, stabbed in the neck. Don't even know if he made it. Right? And his partners around him were all dressed in their combat gear. Right? Fortunately for California, for that incident, nobody was allowed to have guns, right, in public, because you can no longer do that. I'm telling you that if open carry, at least, or the ability to carry firearms, was a right in California, those 300 dickheads, and they are, would never have tried to take on that group. They might have stood there like they should have and yelled and screamed back and waved signs and do all the other things that a counter-protest is supposed to do. But to go there with the intent, using the phrase, by any means necessary, and then wade into them like that, there would have been bodies on the street. And you know what? I would totally support those guys, those 30 guys, in using deadly force to protect themselves. You cannot do that, not in this country, and expect to get away with it, right? Unfortunately, they wanted to bully these 30 guys, and they felt that it was okay to do that. Now, when Westboro Baptist Church goes, and they were going and desecrating funerals of our fallen soldiers, hundreds of people would go and provide a barrier. They didn't storm, although they probably felt like it, they didn't storm and beat up the Westboro Baptist people because of the hate that they were spewing. They just made a barrier to prevent them from going to the funeral. I mean, it was that simple. They were in their place, and the Westboro people were in their place, and you didn't have this attack, which was what these social justice warriors are trying to do. And that is why they are so crazy about not having guns in public, because they want this kind of conflict to happen, right? Now, I'm just saying, they went there with the intent and the opportunity and the tools to inflict serious bodily injury and possible death to those 30 guys, thinking it was okay. I can tell you that in places where the citizens are allowed to be armed, you would not have that kind of interaction. And I've gone to several protests here where I live, and it just doesn't happen that way. Even the law enforcement, who didn't do their job, because their job was to stand in between the two groups. That was their job. Their job was to protect the permitted people, those 30, from the crazy 300. That was their job. But they didn't do that. They waited to clean up the mess. But even law enforcement said every person that used a blade, and they used it well, was within their rights in self-defense. Had those been firearms, there would have been more than 7 on the ground, mostly dead, and the cops would have to say the same thing. And the message to you people would say, if you want to go and disrupt a peaceful protest of anybody, and you want to use force and violence to do that, then you should expect to take a dirt nap as those people try to defend themselves. There's no excuse. There's no by any means necessary. This is America. And understand, the Second Amendment protects the First. Now, y'all social justice warriors, college kids, stupid people need to go back to school and learn our history and what our Constitution means. Man, you pissed me off because you made me make this video in supporting people that I believe are crazy and full of hate. Don't make me make another one of these, because I will not make one in your support if you end up taking a dirt nap because y'all decided you were going to go out there and do this stupid stuff. So, thanks for watching. And where you can, carry on.